Timing. Just, uh, yeah, maybe we can start.
Okay,
We can start.
light the candle.
Yeah, light a candle. So, I think no new things to say, huh? Just follow the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Sutta class. Everyone, please rise up as Bhante lights the candle. Okay, so as usual, before I start the class, may I know, is anyone is a first timer today? Okay, you can contact me if you have any question. And if you are not part of the WhatsApp group member, you can scan the QR code to be the member. Okay, there will be the update sent weekly. So before we start the class, let me make a brief introduction on Bhante Dr. Chandima. Bhante is an associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies at the Buddhist Research Institute of MCU University in Thailand. He was formerly a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, CSRS, of the University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante's most recent article, The Function and Contemporary Role of Sikha Pachakana, abandoning the training rules in the Pali Canon, was published in the Journal of Buddhist Ethics under the Pennsylvania State University Press, USA. Bhante's work can be accessed at https://patisota.blogspot.com. Patisota, Patisota. Patisota blog was ranked 58 globally in the 100 best Buddhist blog and websites for 2024. So a gentle reminder, please make sure you please sign the attendance sheet, which is located on a table near the entrance. And oh no, that's all. So thank you.
Thank you, Sister Eng. A very good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back. And we will get started our sutta discussion by paying respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Last Monday, we discussed the Buddha's qualities number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And today, we are going to discuss this one. Buddha's great qualities, fifth and sixth. So this is what we discussed. This is what we discussed last Monday. Okay, so first let's identify what these great qualities number 5 and number 6. Arahang is number 1, Samma Sambuddho is number 2, Vichacharana Sampanno is number 3, and Sugato is number 4. If you look at the sutta text, the Buddha's qualities cannot be confined, limited to 9 great qualities. But this is a comprehensive list of great qualities. So that means we have to understand the different context of these great qualities. Now, Arahang, we discuss the quality of Arahang with certain context. If you can remember how we discuss it, go back to the note, day 55. So here we discussed that he broke the spokes of the wheel of samsara, and then he destroyed the akusala enemies, and he is the worthiest of the requisites, and then he never engaged in any akusala, even in secret. I think that is very interesting because while we are learning these suttas and the important things, we should find out what we can learn from these qualities and so forth. Otherwise, we are only learning some theories which might not be very beneficial. I mean, we respect, but we need to understand what is the practical level of these teachings. And then we discuss about the second great quality, Samma Sambuddho, where we understood that the Buddha is Samma Sambuddho through 5 key aspects. Abhiññeya, he knew what is to be known, and he realized what is to be realized. Pariññeya, and he relinquished or gave up what is to be given up. Pahatabba, and then he fully realized what is to be realized. Actually, the second one is he understood what is to be understood. The fourth one is he fully realized what is to be fully realized. Satchikatabba, and finally he completely developed what needs to be completely developed. Bhavetabba. And then we moved on to the Vichacharana Sampanna, which is a very lofty quality of the Buddha, where we have to understand, it reminds us our nature of the Dhamma journey. Theory is not enough. Theory and practice, or knowledge and practice. Vichya means knowledge and Charana means practice, right? So Vichya, and we understood that the Buddha possessed of 8 great knowledges and then 15 practices. That means more to the practice, right? You can see, I think this is how this kind of idea is very relevant to us. We take the example of Bhante Ananda, who knew all the Dhamma by memory, sometimes by explanation, sometimes by explaining to others, more importantly by retaining, memorizing. You can recite anything without even looking at anything. At that time it was not codified in the books. This was started in Sri Lanka. But none of these things help him to attain any realization. That means realization is something that we have to personally work on, right? I think this is something very interesting, the most important thing in our life. Sometimes you see people who do not study Dhamma a lot, but perhaps they have certain good characters. Sometimes some others have to learn, And then, among those who have been studying, you might see that they might not cultivate the basic qualities. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka, basic qualities, right? Are we metta other people? Are we karuna other people? Are we mudita other people? Are we upekka other people? But they know all the Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, that sutta, this sutta, dana, sila, bhavana. But the basic qualities, the higher, the divine abodes that we all must have initially, seems to be lacking in their life. So that means something wrong somewhere in their learning of the Dhamma practice. That means we have to start our Dhamma practice from a metta attitude. It's not just a meditation. It is our attitude. It has to become our attitude. That means when we talk to other people, talk with metta. When we think about any subject, family, work, outside, we're going to do it with metta. Anything. Karuna. I think sometimes when some people are too much focused on theory, when they do not bring a certain level of practice, and then what happens is that they are lacking in their compassion part. They're becoming very bombarded with the information. Then compassion seems to be running out. So when we know a lot of things, and our practice is going to work with compassion, right? So any idea of perfectionism, that I have to be perfect, I must do this, if not, something will happen to me. These are ideas of those people who have only theorized, only took all these information as a knowledge. So, and mudita, being able to really, experience joy when other people are doing well, doing even better than us in Dhamma, in their secular life, not even in Dhamma, even in secular life. And upekka, this balance of mind. So that's why we learn from this fourth great quality which we discussed last Monday, Vijjacharana. Buddha also set an example then. I have acquired 8 knowledges, great knowledges. At the same time, I have a larger, broader practice than the knowledge, than the theorization, right? So it doesn't underestimate the knowledge. Knowledge is important, but do not end up in knowledge. If you end up in knowledge, you are just like any other academic person. That's why this Dhamma practice has to be properly understood. We need a certain level of knowledge, but don't end up in that knowledge. Like Sila, we need Sila, but don't end up in Sila. If you end up in Sila, you always checking who are the good people, who is good, who is better than me, who is a good monk, who is a bad monk, like those systems, who is a good person. We don't have to waste time on checking other people. Today we are discussing that actually. That's why in terms of quality, great quality, lokavidu, we are discussing this time. How precious is the time in terms of the practice. So Vijjacharana Sampanno, great quality, says that we need a larger, broader, consistent, committed, innovative practice. That's where we left up last Monday. And now, today we are continuing with the 6 great qualities. Okay, Lokavidu. Lokavidu. Now, this is a Pali word. The Buddha is Lokavidu. What does Loka mean? Loka means the literal meaning of Loka is world. And Vidu means knower. Janati, Vijanati, Pajanati. Janati, Vijanati, Pajanati. Pali words. That's why in Pali, Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha says sampajanya. Not janati, not knowing during the time. That must be a very interesting thing. Huh? When we learn, when we experience some things, thereby we gain knowledge. we gain a certain practical knowledge, and the way how we acquiring that knowledge, that understanding, has to be during the knowledge. We call it sampajanya. Sometimes we say things to other people, after a couple of hours we think about, I made a mistake. Right? I think I was not talking to that person properly, because we have not been able to think on the talking, on the thinking, on the acting upon that activity. So, not janati, sampajanati. Vijanati means know in particular. Sometimes we listen to the same Dhamma subject, Dhamma topic subject. Kindness, 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 metta, metta, metta. Every day we learn from morning to evening. But one day we learn something in particular. Maybe some good conditions are going to arise. Something is going to cross my knowledge about metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. On the other hand, when you listen to the same Dhamma talk over and over, you catch some new stuff every day. Right? So this, what do you call? Sampajana, vijanana. So janati, Pali word janati means know. Vijanati means know in particular. Sampajanati means knowing on the time, on the particular activity. That is a very great ability. Lokavidu means Buddha knows the world. But literally we understand Buddha knows the world. What world is this? Now, when you think about the world, the popular idea is this cosmic world, right? The cosmic world with all the experimental studies and this new information. Let's take a look. The Samma Sambuddha possesses a profound understanding of the world, encompassing all aspects of sensory experience. And this is what is more important. Now, Buddha's understanding of the world relate to the world of sensory experience. Actually, we are communicating, exchanging everything through our sensory channels. There is no other world other than that. Before that, I want to mention something. There is a sutta in Anguttara Nikaya. I hope there are 4 things. The Buddha said, don't think too much. Very interesting. Achinteya Sutta, I think. Achinteya Sutta. This one. Unthinkable. These 4 things are unthinkable. They should not be thought about. I think the translation has to be not to be too much thought about. Anyone who tries to think about them too much will go mad and even get frustrated. What for? The scope of the Buddha. So we have to be very careful. Don't learn too much about the Buddha. Get mad. Let's see the Pali one. I think the Pali one will give us a very good understanding. Why I want to tell this? Just to balance out your search. Okay. Chattarimani bhikkhave achinteyani. That means unthinkable. You can think, but it is unthinkable in terms of the scope. Right? It is unthinkable. Yani chintento ummadassa, mentally sick. Vighatassa, that means frustration. Bhagiyassa, chattari. Buddhanang bhikkhave buddha visayo. That means learning too much about the Buddha's everything can be a certain unnecessary thing. On the other hand, we cannot learn too much about the Buddha because we are in our scope, unenlightened scope, we cannot think too much about the Buddha. Then, Jaissa bhikkhave. Jhanas, don't think too much about the jhanas. Absorptions, first jhana, second jhana, third. When some people meditate since morning, tonight maybe I can hit a very big jhana, 4th jhana. Bhante also talk about 4 jhanas today. Right? Actually, it's a fruit of meditation, so don't need to think about jhanas. Kamma vipako, today I do dana, maybe tomorrow, maybe next life, I get all the benefits that I could not achieve in this life. That means kamma vipak, not kamma vipakas. Loka chinta, this is what we are going to aim at. Loka chinta, about the world. Achinteya, you cannot think about too much. Because we are not able to think about the world. Not this continental world, Oceania, North America, South America, Asia. It's not this world, this cosmic space. This does not underestimate any experimental research done by scientists. It's a different way because they are choosing a certain area, they are researching. But this is about the spiritual practice. In terms of the spiritual practice, the Buddha says, thinking too much about the Buddha is not necessary. Not even it is necessary, it can take you to become a mentally sick person. Have you met somebody who has learned too much Dhamma, become bombarded, They always, hello, how are you? Yeah, 5 kanda, 4 noble truths. They have only learned these couple of things only. In every conversation, they put all these information. So they have learned unnecessarily. None of the Dhamma information should be learned in an unnecessary way. Only learn to a certain extent which serves the purpose of that learning. So you can see the Buddha's scope, jhanas, kamma vipakas, and then lokachinta. The sutta is achinteya, unthinkable, Anguttara Nikaya 4.77. So, but here in terms of the lokavidu, the Buddha's understanding that he is lokavidu means that he knows everything with regard to the sensory experience. I think we discussed about it last Monday as well. What is this sensory experience? Eye has an experience. That means our eyes are taking objects. What are the objects our eyes are taking? Rupa. Rupa means sights, images, sights, all that. Form. Then we have an ears experience. That means through our ears, we are acquiring sounds. Right? And then through the nose, we are having this nose experience, means smell. Then through the tongue, we are having a taste experience. That's a very big one, right? You can keep tasting for the whole day. Different food, different maybe tea, coffee, everything, right? And then body. Body means body experience, touch. But it matters, right? Say for instance, if you don't sleep last night very well, I think the whole activities will be disturbed. That means bed is important. Right? The bed is important. Where you sleep is important because then it affects your thoughts, it affects your emotions as well. And then mind experience. All these are coordinated through the mind. Especially when you go to sleep, what will happen to you? What are the objects? Objects that you have taken through the rest of the 5 senses will be working as objects to the mind. Because mind cannot die when you sleep, right? Morning you have to feel that mind is over there. So then what are the objects for the mind? They are the daily experiences you have already fed your other senses. Images, sounds, smell, then taste, then touch. They will be having a flashback at night. Otherwise, mind has to die when you sleep because you are not taking objects, getting objects from outside. So our world, actually our real world lies within this sensory experience. This is our real. Actually, we can feel it at a certain point. When you go through grief, when somebody who you really love passes away, on that day, you can feel that inner world collapses. You can feel it. You feel the hopelessness. You feel that you are alone at that point. And a moment of time you being rejected by someone, maybe a interview, maybe a examination, maybe a recommendation, right? Right? Time to time this can happen, right? That moment you can feel the world that I expected is not coming to me. It's going somewhere else. Collapse and going somewhere else. You can feel bit and pieces of that true world. So that's what the Buddha says. He knows how that sensory experience world, the true world, arises, how it ceases. Right? He knows everything with regard to that. This includes a complete awareness of the arising, samudaya, and ceasing, vaya dhamma, of all sensory phenomena, which reflects the depth of the Samma Sambuddha's knowledge. Where are our problems coming from? If you look at our problems, day-to-day problems, where are they normally coming from? They are coming from this sensory experience, right? This sensory experience has everything. Our sanya, our thoughts, our feelings, they are all rooted in that sensory experience. So if you are really able to take care of your sensory experience, you are such a good person. Enlightenment is not far away from you. Right? It's not far away from you at that point. And we have a Pali word for that. What's a Pali word for this understanding, calming the senses? We call it Indriya Sangvara. We discussed that about Sakka, Indriya Sangvara. So if we take care of our especially the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind, thoughts, then all the good things will happen to us. Right? But you cannot control them. Once you start controlling your senses, you will end up in another bizarre world you never expected. You are not supposed to control your senses. Rather, you understand your eyes, ears, the nature of eyes, the working of eyes, working of ears, working of your nose, working of your tongue, working of body, working of your own mind, own thoughts. Then you have destabilized these external things. You are good. But it's not happening all the time. Right? That's why we have to improve us every day. And there's a sutta for this understanding. Study that. Perhaps Sabba Sutta. We are going to few other suttas, otherwise we cannot discuss even this particular Dajjagga Sutta's context. This is Sabba Sutta, Sangyutta Nikaya's 35.23. Monks, I will teach you all. Sabbangvo bhikkhave desisami. What is all? If it is all, that must include the world. If it is all, I teach you everything. If it is everything, if it is all, that must include the world, whatever the world. What is the all? It is just the eyes and sights, ears and sounds, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the body and touches, the mind and thoughts. This is called all. That means this is the world. Nothing else. This is how we are gathering information, sense media. That is where the world lies. Okay? And Buddha is trying to bet something. I'll reject this all and describe another all. They would have no ground for that. Yeah? Because they are out of their elements. Because all, everything means what you call these sensory experiences. Sabba Sutta. Okay. The Buddha teaches that true world exploration cannot be achieved alone through physical traveling. For a deeper understanding, one must delve into the insights found in the Rohitassa Sutta. You got to study this sutta too. Physical traveling. I think we all like to travel, right? traveling helps us becoming more tolerant, understanding people, right? Because if you only live in one place, then you only embrace that particular place. You might not embrace what other people think. But traveling needs money, huh? With that understanding on the side. But traveling is one of the best virtues in the modern world. Proper traveling, huh? People travel for different reasons, right? Yeah. But it helps. But if someone thinks that I want to explore the world, that is a different understanding. It's not this. Because there was one particular person called Rohitasa who wanted to travel to the end of this universe. And then he has a story to tell us. We'll go. Rohita Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.45. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savathi's Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's Jitarama. Then late at night, the glorious god Rohitasa, lighting up the entire Jeta's grove, went up to the Buddha, bowed, stood to one side, and said to him, "Is it possible to know or see or reach the end of the world by traveling to a place where there is no being born, growing old, dying, passing away, or being reborn?" That means there was an idea at that time, some thought that if they could travel to a certain area in this world, they can bypass birth, sickness, aging, then passing away and the rebirth. That was an idea. Actually, we are learning to embrace these things and then do the necessary things. And we are not trying to bypass these things. We are reborn, and we understand that we are reborn as human beings. So, being reborn as a human being can do more good karmas. For those people who are trying to die, take their life, and then think that with their sicknesses they want to shorten their life, they may have not understood that they can still do good karmas before they pass away. So, what do you call euthanasia, honor killing, or I would say taking life, committing suicide, they are not good ideas. Because we can still do something. We may have pain, right? And we are, and you are sometimes going through these conditions. Let's say you have a surgery, but you have to be in a queue. Then you are on a certain painkiller. In that way, rather than trying to end the life, it is better to stay as long as you can. So you can do more good karmas, practice. But there was an idea that there may be a place in this universe where there is no birth, no old age, no dying, no passing away, or being reborn. Actually, is there such a place? There are certain places where this process is minimal. Can you think about a place like that? Akanitta Brahma world, the last Brahma world, Akanitta. If you see the Brahma worlds, Deva Brahma worlds, there's a place called Akanitta. In this Akanitta Brahma world, it is said that all the people who are reborn there, they have the same age. Let's say someone is going to be reborn in Akanitta today, and someone was reborn 10 years ago. So there's no age gap. Like now we have an age gap, right? I'm not looking at anybody, but we have an age gap. This can be good, this cannot be good to some people. But Akanitta Brahma world, there's no age gap. That is why when the Sakka, Indra, Sakka was asked, where would you like to be reborn? He said, I would like to be reborn in the Akanitta Brahma world. Because there is no manifestation of old age. That means that could be a place where the old age is kind of very well managed. But there is a problem. How to be reborn in that place? You must be an Anagami person here. You must go to become an Anagami person, non-returner. That means closer to the Nibbana, right? So anyways, so people had this belief. So Rohitasa want to try. Then, Reverend, I say it's not possible to know or see or reach the end of the world by traveling to a place where there is no being reborn, growing old, dying, passing away, or reborn. Okay. Then the Buddha said, it is not a good idea. Even if you had this idea, it's not a good idea. But actually, he did it already in a previous life. It's incredible. It's amazing. Why? He knew what he did. How well said this was by the Buddha. Once upon a time, I was a sage called Rohitasa of the Boja people. This sage coming from a certain area. I was a skywalker with psychic powers. That means he was a skywalker, not someone who's going from one Menara to the other Menara, right? Real skywalker, right? With a lot of powers. I was as fast as a light, he's talking about his pace of skywalking. I was as fast as a light arrow easily shot across the shadow of a palm tree by a well-trained expert archer with a strong bow. And then now he's saying how he did that. My stride, my walking was such that it could span from the eastern ocean to the western ocean. That means these are not physical oceans that we know at this moment, not these normal oceans we know, Indian, Pacific, and all these oceans. Oceans in the cosmic world, whole universe. Having such speed and stride, this wish came to me. I will reach the end of the world by traveling. Okay, I want to reach the end of the world by traveling. You may have your own idea of traveling to the end of the world, from here to somewhere else, there to somewhere else. That is a different idea. But this is something else. I travel for my whole lifetime of 100 years, pausing only to eat and drink, go to the toilet, and sleep to dispel weariness. But I passed away along the line, never reaching the end of the world. That means he skywalked to many areas, but during the time, along the way, he passed away. And then he said, what you are saying is true, right? It's true that we cannot reach the end of the universe by even skywalking. Forget about aeroplane, because this is skywalking, levitation. And then the Buddha says, but I also say there is no making an end of suffering without reaching the end of the world, for it is in this one fathom body with its perception and mind that I describe the world. To the Buddha, the world means something that is happening within our body. World is not outside the body. It is inside our individual bodies. Now, if I ask you, where is your world? It is inside my body. Right? It is not outside the body. He further explains, the world, its origin, its cessation, and the practice that leads to its cessation. And further he says the same thing. Now, this is an interesting idea. What the Buddha says here, on the other hand, is that the Four Noble Truths and understanding about the Four Noble Truths also lies within the body. Let me ask you, where is your Nibbana? Where is our own Nibbana? Is Nibbana lying in a temple? Is Nibbana lying in a forest? Where is Nibbana? Nibbana, according to this teaching, is within us. That means it is something that is opening up as long as you are understanding this one fathom body. One fathom body, it is said the body is normally one fathom. And with its perception, perception means you have to live, otherwise you must have died. You can't find the world inside. So this whole idea, Rohitassa Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.45, says that the real world exists within our body. It's not outside the body. Right? Now, this real world means what you call the sensory experience world. So the more we understand that particular world, the better we can work on our spiritual life, our Dhamma journey. But on the other hand, there is a Sankhara world. Even the Buddha accepts that. What is this Sankhara world? Sankhara means, what is Sankhara? I want to ask you, what does Sankhara mean? This Pali word? Even Buddha's last word includes Sankhara. Vaya Dhamma Sankhara Appamadena Sampadeta. Sankhara means all the conditioned phenomena. Condition mean everything that has been conditioned. Is there anything that is not conditioned, deconditioned? Nibbana. There are no conditions, right? That means everything is conditioned. So in that condition, Sankhara has many meanings. One thing is conditioned phenomena. Another meaning is, Sankhara means good karma, bad karma, neutral karma. Karma also Sankhara. You can see the 5 aggregates, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. There Sankhara means not conditioned phenomena. Sankhara means karma, right? Our own karmic process. So here Sankhara means conditioned phenomena. So we are conditioning and we are being conditioned, right? We are conditioning and we are being conditioned. So Buddha also accepts that there is a physical world, but the real world exists within us. There is a physical world, that's why we can travel from here to here, there. In that Sankhara world, he understands 3 main worlds. As you can see, Kamavachara, sensual, and Rupavachara, material, and Arupavachara, immaterial. You can see. So there are 21 realms inside. Sensual means our Kama world. Kama world has what you call 6 very painful places. We call them as Kama painful places or painful Kama places. 4 hells. It is not 6, 4. 4 hells, and then what else? Yeah, 4 hells include all the main hells, 16 hells, 8 hot hells and 8 cold hells. So you can choose if you want to. There are cold ones and there are hot ones. Normally people talk about hot ones only, but there are cold ones too. The Mahayana books talk about these 8, Sarvastivada books. So 16 hells under Naraka. Then Tirachana, animal kingdom. Animal kingdom, animals. Then Petas. Petas means all these Petas, departed ones who have been reborn in different painful places. And then Asuras, those powerful beings. So there are 4. And then Manusa world, it is higher than all these 4, right? Manusa. We normally call Manusa space because there may be other Manusas in some other places, right? And then 6 heavens. Chatu Maharajika, Yama, Tavatinsa, Tusita, Nimmanarati, Paranimita, Vasavati. So these are called sensual realms. There are, in that interpretation, 4, 5, then 6, 11 sensual realms. So this Sankhara world has 11 sensual worlds. And then 16 Brahma worlds. I think we discussed all them in the Dhammacakkappavattana Suttas discussions, so I don't want to go into details. And then Arupavachara Brahma world. So there are 21 realms, 3 main worlds. Buddha understands. Buddha also understands one day these worlds will come to an end, just like Anicca Dukkha Anatta process that happened to all of us things are changing. Because of the changes, we go through different things. All these are going through changes. There is a sutta called Satta Suryugamana Sutta. Some people translate that there are 7 suns are coming, but the idea could be the same sun might get the power of 7 suns, and then the whole physical world will be destroyed at a certain point, and then the world is going to devolve at that point, and then going to evolve again. Devolution, evolution, right? Buddha accepts that, but Buddha says pay more attention to this internal world. Actually, it's very important because we are trying to do an introspection, right, so that we understand our sense media very well. So idea is here in which that the Buddha knows all these 2 types of world, internal world and this external, but he laid more emphasis on the internal world because that was his emphasis. All right, that is Loka Vidu. Then we are going on to the Anuttaro Purusha Dhamma Sarathi, but we will discuss more about Loka Vidu maybe by the end. Anuttaro Purusha Dhamma Sarathi. Okay, what does Anuttaro mean? Anuttaro, I have given. The Buddha surpasses all beings in virtue, concentration and wisdom, which is why he is called Anuttaro. Sila, Samadhi and Panya. Sila, what does Sila mean? I think we have to discuss these things a little bit. Sila? Sila means discipline. Discipline. We all have a discipline. We all supposed to have a discipline. What is our discipline? Sila in terms of our body, Sila in terms of our speech, Sila in terms of our thoughts. Then we understand that we create kusala, akusala. Kusala, akusala, time to time. What do you think? Which one creates more kusala and akusala? Is it the body, speech, or the mind? Mind initially, but in terms of external observation, the speech, right? Most of our interactions are happening with regard to the speech. Lying, it's happening in many moods. Social media, news agencies, people, consumer companies. How many people are lying every day to get their products sold? And they are monetizing us. We are monetized and they are monetizing us. They are asking us to monetize them. Right? It's happening everywhere. So it's musavada is something very interesting. Then pisuna vacha. This is something that we experience in our daily life sometimes, there are sometimes people who would like to divide good friends. They say one thing to one person, another thing to another person, and they're being very happy when they are in clash. So it's good. They don't like sometimes other people are in happiness. Why is it? That mudita problem, no mudita. So they would like to do pisuna vacha. They are going to break 2 people away. Divisive speech. Sometimes there are people who have no intention, but still they do it. That means you need to do a certain reflection at the end of the day. Is my speech good? If I don't know, maybe I contact someone who can give me advice. That's pisuna vacha. Then parusa vacha, hurtful speech. Are we time to time hurting other people in our speech? Why is it happening? Because we are not very much mindful about what we talk. Sometimes there are people who don't like to be mindful because they want to become as such. That's even worse. So what if that we think that I want to take responsibility for each word I talk? each thing I communicate. That's good. So we are minimizing this hurtful speech. We have to think a lot about it. Huh? Rather than thinking about the world, better to think about my own speech. Right? Rather than thinking about the jhanas, think about your own speech. That's much, even very worthier. I can be a better person. Right? Gossiping, idle chatting, sampappalapa, right? I think if we don't know to organize our time, then the immediate next thing is that bad mouthing other people, bringing other people trashy garbage stuff into conversations and wasting time, precious time, right? So that's why we have to understand our sila has to be, sila is not the precepts, only precepts, not killing, not stealing. Sometimes we have to understand how to practice sila in a challenging world. I always give some examples. Now, one example is that, let's say, for a retreat, someone wants to come for a retreat, but this person has a bad smell. Bad smell. So he or she thinks, okay, I want to practice metta for the other participants. So I'm going to spray some perfume before the retreat. Is that a good idea? That's a good, huh? But this person cannot come because if he or she comes, other people feel the smell. So then we are going to accommodate that person because of the compassion. Because it might be a medically given prescription. The doctor might ask to do it. Right? So there are things that we have to accommodate. Right? Otherwise we cannot practice anything. Otherwise, just because of the karma, sansaric karma, that person should not attend any program. That is also not nice. Right? So sila has to be practiced with a understanding, how to do it with compassion. When many people practice sila, they are becoming very hard on the sila. Very hard. Compassion runs out. They only look at black and white. Huh? The black and white area of the sila. But here there is a gray area. This area is very invisible to them. So that sila practice is not going to well. And then concentration, samadhi, and wisdom. So the Buddha surpasses all beings with regard to sila, samadhi, panya. That is why he is anuttaro. But the most important aspect of this quality is purisa dhamma sarati. Purisa dhamma sarati. Purisa means beings. Dhamma, this dhamma is different, right? As you can see here. Yeah, purisa dhamma. This is this dhamma. No H. Right? And there is this dhamma too. There is this dhamma too. Many Pali versions. Dhamma means taming, taming. So when you are chanting Vijja Charana Sampanno, Sugato Lokapitu, Anuttaro, Purisa Dhamma Sarati. Never say Dhamma. There's no H. Purisa Dhamma Sarati. Right? There's a light pronunciation, no heavy pronunciation. Right? Purisa Dhamma. Dhamma means taming. Taming. Okay. But we can see the term Purisa Dhamma Sarati signifies his ability, the Buddha's ability, to guide and discipline even the most difficult individuals, whether humans, animals, or non-humans. For a comprehensive understanding of how the Buddha addresses those who are hard to discipline, as well as how he further guides those who are already somewhat disciplined, refer to the Kesi Sutta, which we'll discuss after. But this seems to be a paradox. This idea has a paradox. What do I mean by paradox? Was the Buddha always able to discipline everybody? Huh? Tell me. So then how do we understand this? It is said that he can discipline anybody, tame anybody. But looks like there's a paradox. There were some individuals that the Buddha could not discipline, like monk Devadatta. He could never discipline him. Monk Devadatta wanted to show that he's better than the Buddha. A lot of people think that he only attacked the Buddha. He wanted to show the Buddha that other people, he's better than the Buddha. Right? Sometimes this happens when some people want to challenge you, they first attack you. Then they want to show that they are better than you. Right? They want to show like that. But Buddha could not discipline him. Another example, Monk Channa. Monk Channa, Channa. What happened to him? Who is Monk Channa? Channa was the Buddha's driver. He was the driver in his late time. He is the one who helped him, who supported him in bringing him to the places, and then finally even to leave the house, make him leave the house. But he decided to become a monk, and he expected a little bit of favoritism, nepotism, favoritism. And then, but Buddha did not give him a specific thing. He repeatedly told him, anything in the Buddhist order that I have given to other monks, they come from sansaric eligibilities. Not I know you, so I give you something. Right? He was not happy about it. So he started blaming the Buddha. I helped him, but he did not do anything in return. But then Buddha did something at the end. I am going to discuss with you that after this sutta's explanation. Let's go to learn Kesi Sutta. How the Buddha disciplined his disciples. Okay. With Kesi Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.111. Kesi, once upon a time, Kesi, the horse trainer, went up to the Buddha, bowed and sat down to one side. The Buddha said to him, Kesi, you are known as a horse trainer. You are a horse trainer. How do you guide a horse in training? Very interesting. These encounters which the Buddha had with different people seem to be very interesting. So I guide a horse in training, sometimes gently, sometimes harshly, sometimes both gently and harshly. 3 ways. He trains horses in 3 ways. Gentle way, harsh way, and in both gentle and harsh way. Let's see. Ahanko Bhante Assa Dhamma Sanhe Napi means gently, Paruse Napi harshly, San Paruse Napi, both gentle and harsh. Kesi, what do you do with a horse in training that does not follow these forms of training? That means not every horse is going to go through like these ways of training. Gentle training, harsh training, both gentle, harsh training. In that case, sir, I kill it. Right? Why is that? Sir, that I don't disgrace my tradition. Mame acharya kusalassa avanno ahosi. Seems to me this horse trainer is very much into his lineage. He's a very famous, long-standing horse trainer. So I think disgrace is more important to him in training horses. Then he is very concerned about the Buddha now. Now he told the Buddha that how he trained. The Buddha is the supreme guide for those who wish to train. Bhagava Pana Bhante Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati. This is the quality that we are learning today, the sixth one. So, it is said that Buddha is the supreme teacher for anybody who wishes the guiding. Just how do you guide a person in training? Okay, see, I guide a person in training sometimes gently, sometimes harshly, sometimes both gently and harshly. That means don't expect that the Buddha is guiding you very gently. He has to know who you are, and then he is going to train you. But I think you may have certain hypothetical understanding by now. Don't worry, we are going to learn what this harsh training as well. Actually, this is true in our classroom setup, even in a school, right? Like when you see someone like that, you can't train these people as a school teacher or a military officer. You see that people are training so hard, too harsh on the students, right? So, it depends. The gentle way, now the Buddha is saying, what is this? A gentle training, very nice training, very gentle training. This is good conduct by way of body, speech, mind. This is body, this is mind, this is speech. This is the good conduct. That means you can take care of other beings. You can take care of other people things. You can sexually behave well. You can speak the truth. You can bring people together, unite people together. You can always talk in a way to be pleasant to other people. You can save your time by speaking right stuff, true things. This is the result of good conduct by way of body, speech and mind. This is life as a god, this is life as a that means the gentle training in Buddhism means giving a Dhamma talk. Now say for instance, in Dhamma talk the monk does not talk about the drawbacks of the akusala kammas. Now, normally in Dhamma talks, the speakers have to talk about the drawbacks, akusala kammas. This is akusala, killing is akusala, stealing is akusala. That means that's not gentle training. Because if it is a gentle training, then the person has to only talk about this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. But people are not convinced. That means these people need a little bit of harsh training. So, the Buddha's nice, gentle way of training is when the Buddha says, take care of other people, take care of you, take care of other people's stuff, sexually behave, and then speak the right things, and then drink, eat properly, not to an extent of, That is a good way, positive way of giving Dhamma training. As you can see, iti kaya sucharitassa vipako. When you do, say for instance, not even that. Now when you take care of other beings, you have longevity in your next life. When you take care of other beings, you feel that you are living more and more. When you take care of other people's stuff, your things will never be stolen by other people. You will get a lot of things. When you sexually behave, you will never go through breakups and divorce. Other people will not ever cheat on you as benefits, right? When you speak the truth, then you will always be trustworthy. When you are eating, drinking properly, that means you have the mindfulness. You can decide what to do. You can make right choices. So this kind of a very minimal, nice, gentle talk is gentle training. Then, harsh way of training someone. This is a bad conduct by way of body, speech and I think the Panchasila is definitely now harsh way of training people. Right? Don't kill, don't steal, don't sexually misbehave. Why don't you talk in a nice way? Take care of other beings, take care of other people things, sexually behave, speak nice things. Why you say the bad thing and ask us not to do it? That is harsh way. Now the problem is people warrant a harsh way because of how they have been growing in their life at this point. That means this is bad conduct by way of body, speech, mind. This is the result of bad conduct by your body, speech and mind. This is hell. This is life as an animal. This is life as a ghost. Any monk who gave a talk about ghosts, he gave you a training of harsh training. Why? They should not talk about ghosts. Why they had to talk about ghosts? They knew that by talking good things, you were not trained enough. They had to go talk about animals. You don't do this, you become animal. And don't do this, you can end up as a ghost. They chose the harsh way because they understood the devotees' audience was not convinced enough. Okay, then the both gentle and harsh way is this. That means the speaker is going to talk about the gentle way. That means take care of yourself and other people, take care of your stuff, other people's stuff, sexually behave, speak the truth, and then drink and eat properly. Also at the same time, the speaker is saying, don't kill, don't steal, don't sexually misbehave, and don't lie, don't drink, eat to an extent where you lose your judgment, your presence of consciousness to make a judgment. This means, now we know in psychology, this is called reverse psychology. When you talk to some children, say, hey, there's a plug, don't touch it. Next moment, when you look away, he goes and touch. He's like screaming as something happened to him. See, if you want, you go touch. He will never touch it. I mean, this is reverse psychology. That's what some people do. It's not recommended. I'm saying harsh way, gentle way and harsh way together. Now the Buddha explains that is how he trained people. So he does not train Purusha Dhammasarathi not in one way, in three ways. Gentle way, harsh way, perhaps gentle harsh way. It depends on the person. Finally. Now, Casey is interested about someone who cannot be trained in one of these ways, three ways. Sir, what do you do with a person in training who does not follow these forms of training? Sometimes even gentle way doesn't work. Harsh way also doesn't work. Gentle harsh way also doesn't work. Looks like a very, very terrible person, cannot train. So he's wondering about how the Buddha does it. I normally kill. I kill the horse because it's a disgrace to my tradition. My father, grandfather, they have been very good horse trainers. In that case, Casey, I kill them. The Buddha say, I kill those disciples. Anybody? Dayaka, lay people, monks, nuns, I kill them. Still, we have to study. Sir, it's not appropriate for the Buddha to kill living creatures. Now, Casey is giving Dhamma talk to the Buddha. Right? How he's saying. Then, and you say, you kill them. It's true, Casey. It's not appropriate for the Buddha to kill living beings. But now he's explaining. But when a person in the training does not follow any of these forms of training, gentle, harsh together, the Buddha does not think they are worth advising or instructing. And neither do their sensible spiritual companions. For it is killing in the training of the noble ones. That means if the Buddha or if a good teacher stops guiding you, that is your death, spiritual death. Right? That's going to be the spiritual death. This is what the Buddha says. Yes, I do well, gentle, harsh, but sometimes there are people who are even cannot be part of these three types of training. So I stop giving them advice. It's a waste of time, It's wasting my time, wasting their time. Now you might understand, if the Buddha is the unparalleled teacher who can guide everybody, why he excludes certain beings? It is not the Buddha's problem, it is the problem of some individuals, right? It's like some people, when they go listen to some Dhamma talk, they cannot understand anything. One thing, maybe the way how it was explained. Sometimes everything is good, but they have done bad karma in the past life, so they cannot learn Dhamma. Because in order to learn Dhamma, you must have a little bit of sila, a little bit of concentration. Otherwise, how to digest this Dhamma into you? In the same way, training is not possible. Then going back to Channa, monk Channa. Now monk Channa kept rejecting the Buddha's advices. Then at a certain point, Buddha said, from today, nobody is going to talk to him. That is the capital punishment in Buddhism. We have a capital punishment, but not hang people. Huh? We are not supposed to hang people. It's called, what do you call, there is a Pali word as well. Stop talking. Stop talking to that particular person. Now, there are people who stop talking to others just because of their own personal issues. But this is something interesting. So, everybody stop talking to monk Channa. Monk Channa. Nobody talked to monk Channa until the Buddha passed away. Only during the first Sanghayana, Arahan Mahakashapa said, now let's be compassionate to him, let's talk to him. Right? It's enough, because we had to pity on him. So then they started talking after Buddha passed away. Right? So that means something very interesting. In the Buddhist discipline, that there are 3 ways to discipline someone, but there could be certain places where that person cannot be trained. At that point, we are not saying, hey, don't come to the temple, don't come to the Dhamma talks. Rather than, I think in our understanding, we are trying level best to help out anybody. But in the Buddha's way, Buddha thought monk Channa cannot understand. But in addition to these 2, he has been able to tame all the other individuals, even animals, humans, Deva, Naga, Yakha. So there was no problem with regard to that. For the killing, it's the killing in the training of noble ones. And at the same time, this person will lose spiritual companions, Kalyana Mittas, right? All right, so this is a sutta that is really interesting to learn about. Discipline. That means the Buddha has a gentle training and harsh training, and both gentle, harsh training. All right, I think we can go for a Q&A now about these 2 qualities. Lokavidu and Purusadhamma Sarathi. Let me recap everything before the Q&A. Buddha is Lokavidu because he knows the both world, 2 worlds. The most importantly, inner world. That means the world that is with the sensory experience. He knows everything, especially arising and ceasing of all these sensory experiences. And also the Sankhara world, the external world, which we understand in the form. And he knows everything with regard to that. And Buddha is Anuttaro Purusadhamma Sarathi, is unparalleled in terms of his Sila, Samadhi, Panya with anybody. And he can train almost everybody. But there are exemptions like monk Channa, Angulimala. And he uses a three-tiered methodology, a gentle way of training, harsh way of training, and gentle, harsh way of training, according to the cases. All right, any questions? There's a mic over here, so you can come and then ask a question if you have. think there's something to press in the bottom. Yeah.
Has Buddha ever taken a chariot, or did he only walk?
I didn't hear what you said.
Has Buddha ever taken a chariot? Has he gone on a wheel pulled by animals? I'm not sure whether this is an important question or not, but for example, in Ratana Sutta, there was a part where it says King Bimbisara decorated the road with flowers for the journey to the Ganges River. So in terms of non-harming, has Buddha or the monks during his time ever taken carts being pulled by animals, or have they only walked?
I didn't understand the question. Can you make it very, very...
Buddha,
did Buddha?
he has had long journeys. Often, when there is no emergency, he would be walking on a walking journey, right? He would be walking.
Yeah, he did.
But for example, in Ratana Sutta, in case of emergency, where he had to travel from Rajagaha to Vesali,
Yeah.
did he still walk, or did he take a chariot pulled by animals?
We understand from the commentary he walked. Yeah, Kim Bimbisara paved the way. He constructed the road for him to go to Visala. Yeah. All right. That's not part of the lesson though. All right, any other questions? Questions about today, Lokavitu, Anuttaro Pusadam Sarthi. You want to go there? Yeah, please.
Bhante, the monk Chana, did he attain any sainthood? Is he?
We don't have lots of information about him, but in my reading, I think he must have attained at least Sotapatti. Yeah, at a certain level, because he understood his own problem, blaming the Buddha for, not giving him a designation. Like his main attack was with Arhan Sariputta and Moggallana. Why the Buddha did not give me the chief disciple positions? Yeah. Later on he is. Some people, I think that is another way of training, probably not speaking to somebody and then he or she himself understand my own mistakes. I think it happens, right? I think if you take a very layman example, when after an argument you might sometimes not talk for a day or two, maybe for a week, and during that time, if that person is really intelligent, really want to solve the problem, trying to think, this is my own problem, so I have to apologize. Maybe I have to think that way. It can work in a way. So then that means the fourth way of training. Yes, but normally 3 ways. But I think we are not supposed to do that. Only the Buddha did it. We cannot do it. We cannot, say to other people, "Hey, from today, don't talk to that person." I think that's not a good idea because, yeah. Yes, yeah. Yeah, we'll give the chance to others and later. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, please.
Good evening, Bhante. My question is that, Bhante, just like Bhante mentioned that Nibbana is to be experienced within.
Yes, that's what the sutta says.
So does it mean that once we're able to surveil or taste the Nibbana when he establish and practice Upekkha?
Once we taste,
the person can experience Nibbana when he practice Upekkha?
Yeah, Upekha is one of the higher qualities in the Brahma Vihara. It can definitely help one to attain Nibbana.
So if we cultivate upeka in our daily activities so that we don't get disturbed or distracted, then we also can taste the worldly bliss of Nibbana.
Worldly,
Worldly
worldly
bliss.
side of Nibbana. I normally ask people how many moments of your daily experiences where you had the Nibbanic moments, like during the day, not that lofty Nibbana, the higher one. You feel very peaceful at that point. So I think it's kind of a recurring thing if you are really look for the peace. So metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, all four can give us that peace, Nibbanic peace time to time.
Including metta and karuna.
Yeah.
Okay.
You cannot go to upekka without metta.
Okay.
Buddha said, start with metta, then go to karuna with having the metta on the side, then go to mudita with having metta, karuna on the side. Go to upekka having metta, karuna, mudita on the side, and practice metta, karuna, mudita, upekka simultaneously.
Thank you, Bhante.
So this is a gradual process.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. So every time when we practice these Brahma Viharas, we feel a very heightened sense of happiness. So what we call Nibbanic moments. But there are people who would like to have an instant Dhamma hit. That instant Dhamma hit is not that Nibbanic moment. Instant Dhamma hit, like they listen to something, so happy. But when you really cultivate metta, karuna, mudita, upekka in the proper way, you will have lots of moments of, secular form of Nibbanic bliss. Then you might think about, what about the lofty Nibbana? That must be more advanced than, you can feel about it at that point. All right, so let's take one more question and then we'll get to the transference of merits. Yes.
Hello, Bhante. I think one of the quality of Buddha is actually have the ability to guide and train. But I think from the previous classes, Bhante also mentioned that Buddha is actually very selective in training people. He was very selective. He not like he will survey and then before he go to train a particular individual from the sutta. So what was the criteria for Buddha to select certain person that he want to train or guide? It's not everyone. I mean, he had the ability, but in the sutta he did not like train or guide everyone that come to him, but he was very selective.
No, it doesn't mean that idea. He is selective not in the way that he chooses people. He's selective in a way how he wants to give the message to that person. So that means he wants to help everybody.
Right.
He wants to help everybody who can get to that level. Then he may be selective in which format he is going to train that person. Not that, okay, only 5 people. These are the 5 people I am going to train. He wants to help everybody. Right. But then he is thinking which method will be useful in that training.
Because my understanding in the Angulimala case where he actually purposely go to guide him out of...
he went with a reason. There's a reason why he went there. Otherwise, why he waited for him to kill 900 people? He went there because he understood if he is going to be late, if he's not showing up on that day, he's going to kill his mother. And he understood Angulimala has a spiritual opportunity. So he wanted to go there and stop him killing mother and then to give a Dhamma advice. Maybe he was kind of waiting. Yeah. So I think there are reasons behind his action. So we had to understand those reasons. So then will have a clear picture about how he trained people. But some people were not able to be trained. Satchaka was not trained. Devadatta was not trained. Chabagya monks, 6 monks. There were 6 monks who were always doing retaliative things. The Buddha said, from today you cannot wear you cannot wear footwear made from tiger skin, lion skin. And then he went to sleep. And then halfway of his sleep, he heard different sounds. Some people were walking up on the cave. Then he asked from Bhante, who are these people? He said, the 6 rebellion monks. Now they are wearing footwears made from leather. Buddha said, okay, stop that too. So there were people who were never trained. Maybe they were not that it was not in the best interest of the Buddha. They cannot be trained.
Right.
There are some who cannot be trained. Maybe sansaric problems. At that point, probably Buddha did not want to. Otherwise, he wants to help everybody.
Right. I mean, we probably born at the same time as the Buddha. Let's say we are not trained, we may not get any benefit of it.
You mean us?
Yeah.
You mean you were?
Yeah. Let's say if we are born at the time of the Buddha.
Yes.
And we may not everyone get enlightened during that time. But people may get enlightened if being trained by Buddha selectively.
No, apparently we missed out that opportunity. But
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that we are evil beings. We are not sinners. We are not evil beings. Perhaps our conditions were not that much ripened at that point to see the Buddha in person for spiritual area. Maybe we may have seen him also, but we may we lost that opportunity because our conditions were not ripened. Maybe our Dhamma understanding was not ripened enough to approach him and then to be guided by him. So all these individuals who kill other beings, who were bad on other people, who were very good other people, they have done their homework before many millions of lifetime before that last time. So probably we were not, ripened enough in our spiritual qualities.
Okay.
So it's a journey. Let's stay on to the journey.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. All right. Yes, please.
Bhante, to write on the questions by our brothers just now, is there a collateral damage when the Buddha even teach, and there are some people who actually able to attain fruition, and there will be some other people who were not? So if for those people who have able to attain fruition, then he did it out of compassion. But with the same teaching, if the person didn't, and in fact got worsened, then it will be seen the Buddha is not compassionate enough. Because we know that the Buddha is able to scan. One of the story here very contradicting is the story of Magandiya. The parents basically, they got the fruition, but not her. So from the same teachings, 2 different results. What is our stand on this matter, Bhante?
No, Magandiya's case was a very isolated case. Now, parents wanted Buddha to take Magandiya as a consort, and the Buddha said, I don't even want to touch her. And then she knew that, and she heard it. She was very angry about that statement which the Buddha made. And she thought, I am going to take revenge from the Buddha. Not only from the Buddha, from all the followers who go after him. So she killed Samavati, set fire to Samavati and all his friends who was going to the Buddha's place. So I think the reason why Magandiya was not being guided by the Buddha was, I think her conditions were not ripen enough for Buddha to do it. So she was, so I mean, if we think that everybody should be guided in the same way, then we have to understand that everyone must have done same good karmas and spiritually eligible by a time of a Buddha. It doesn't happen. So we were one of them, probably, may have been one of them. Yes, So that's how we have to look at it. So every story like Magandiya, all these stories, Angulimala, there is a reason why Buddha was not able to approach them, why they were not able to understand them. Look at monk Devadatta and Ajasatta. What will happen to them in the future? They will become Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, in a future life. Pacceka Buddhas. Then why they were not able to become Arahants? Maybe they are karmically supposed to become Pacceka Buddhas. Buddha didn't want to disturb that. So I think everyone has their own way. So Buddha doesn't want to disturb those people. So we have to look at everyone's spiritual journey differently. Some were able to see the Buddha and then listen to the Buddha. Some were listening to the Buddha but never became enlightened. Right? There are a lot of occasions as such. Okay, so we learn about Lokavidu and Anuttara Purusa Dhammasarathi of the Samma Sambuddha. We understood that he knows two worlds. One is this internal spiritual world, while the other one is physical world. We call it Sankhara world. And then we learn about Anuttara Purusa Dhammasarathi, why there are divisions, differences between certain individuals were instructed, some others were not instructed. And we learn about that the Buddha had 3 ways of disciplining people. And then all these are very interesting aspects. So now we are going to the transfer of some merits. So we have for that, first we are going to transfer good karmas to the departed ones. May all the departed ones that have passed away in the name of all of us in this life and previous lives be able to receive all these good karmas. May they be able to finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. At the same time, may all these good karmas be shared by all Deva, Naga, Mahidika. Even other living beings, we can share these good karmas with other living beings too. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life and prosperity. May they in particular bless our Dhamma journeys. Finally, may Deva, Naga, Mahidika attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sangpadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sangpadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sangpadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lok sasanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang paranti chirang rakhantu tvan sadati. Also at the end of every good karma we are making our Dhamma wish. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas. May Kalyana Mittas always guide us, be the light in our spiritual journey. Thinking thus, we are going to make this wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making today by learning about Buddha's 5th and 6th qualities be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siddhissa niccang vaddha pacayino Chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu sadhu sadhu sadhu. Sister Eng will conclude. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Let's pay respect to Bhante by taking 3 bows. Okay, bow 1. 2. 3. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Wishing you a good night. Have a safe drive home. We'll see you next Monday. Yeah. Yes. Good night, everyone. Yes.